Good morning. Our welcoming music this morning is in the Gray Hymnal, number 298, Wake Now My Senses. Please rise as you are able or in spirit to sing the song. Welcome to all of you who have braved this very rainy morning to be here for this service. So congratulations on your bravery, I guess. The service at the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Charlotte County in Florida. My name is Ted, and I am the worship associate for this morning. This service is broadcast live on YouTube and is recorded for later viewing. Some UU fellowships dub those who are physically present roomies, and those attending on Zoom as Zoomies. Either live, you can watch on Zoom, or hours or days or weeks later as you wish. We wish to express our gratitude to all those who are making this service possible, especially in this rainy weather. Our technology team, Tom, Corey here or not, and Doug, the welcoming greeters at the door, the decorators, the housekeepers, the groundskeepers, the coffee and snack servers, our members and friends and supporters. It is our practice to use first names only to protect everyone's privacy. Whatever your faith, country of origin, or heritage, whoever you are, whomever you love, you are welcome here. We are glad you chose this congregation as your place of worship today. We open our hearts to accept all people of whatever diversity. For those hurting, we try to comfort your pain. Why do people come to our fellowship? Some out of curiosity. What do those Unitarians believe? Others seek something they can believe, reasonable and true. Some hope to make new friends, find companions, join a warm and meaningful community. You are welcome here. We believe in the religion of love and inclusion. It is good that we gather here today. If you are new here today or would like to learn more about our fellowship, you can speak with our greeters, email Anna, our administrator, at office.uufcc.org, or visit our website, uufcc.org. Is there anybody who is here for the first time? Katheryn and Tracy. Would you please stand up and with the microphone and say a little bit who you are and what brings you here today?
My name is Katheryn. I live up in Northport. I work for an eye doctor and I love my job. I'm a single mom. I'm kind of toying with what I believe in. I do a lot of spirituality things. So I was just curious. My aunt loves these types of churches and suggested that I come for one to find community. I've had some trouble finding community in this state, so I'm trying something new this time around.
Welcome.
Hi, my name is Tracy. I am a mother to 2 young adults. My daughter just started college. Very proud of her, but miss her a lot, even though she's home for the weekend. And my son is 20 and working. I am a Christian. I am looking for a new church. Katheryn asked me to come with her, so I came. I'm the big sister, but we both look out for each other and spend a lot of time together. We're very close.
Welcome. Okay, now we will have a
Hang on.
One more.
Hang on.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, I'm Stephanie. I have been with many different religions, but I was born a Christian, and at 13 I chose to be baptized. And some things about the order of the heart and order of charity have been inverted, and so I felt like I should be called back into the church. Thank you.
Okay, welcome. Okay, I guess that's it. The prelude now. We thank Edie and Scott for their beautiful performance of music enhancing our service. Thank you very much. As AJ comes up to light the chalice, now those at home may light your own candle or chalice. Please repeat with me the words of affirmation as in the order of service. Love is the spirit of this fellowship, and service is its law. This is our aspiration, to dwell together in peace, to seek truth in love, and to help one another. We will now sing the gray hymnal, number 168, One More Step. Please rise in spirit or as you are able. We have a little change in the program. One of our volunteers to speak today has not appeared and may not appear. Or is he here or not? Alex? No, he's not here. This is an opportunity for someone who's brave enough to stand up and give a 4-minute talk about his personal spiritual journey. If anybody's brave enough to do it, when the time comes, come up and do it. The opening words today by Elena M. Rivera. A spiritual journey represents the progress of the soul through life's challenges and lessons, steadily evolving and growing with each hurdle encountered and overcome. Much like a physical journey, one's spiritual journey is filled with unexpected twists and turns, opportunities for learning, and moments of self-discovery. Every step on this journey is significant, with each experience contributing to the development of a richer, deeper sense of self. The journey is a reminder that personal growth is not a destination, but a process, a continuous progression towards greater understanding, wisdom, and spiritual maturity. The trials and tribulations faced along the way are not merely obstacles, but catalysts for change and transformation, pushing one to break free from their cocoon and unfurl their wings, ready to fly. The spiritual journey, therefore, symbolizes not just personal growth and evolution, but also the courage, resilience, and determination that are inherent in the human spirit. These words are by Elena M. Rivera. We have a tradition of sharing our joys, sorrows, and milestones by entering them into our book of life, which is located at the back of the sanctuary to the right as you enter. You may also mail your entry to Book of Life at UUFCC.org by Saturday. It will be read on Sunday and written into the Book of Life. I will now read from the Book of Life, if Arlene would be so kind as to bring the book up. Okay. There is a message that was sent in. It's from Dennis, who says he wants to say how much he appreciates the calls from members and friends at UUFCC who expressed their concern and condolences during the past weeks. This beloved community means so much to me. Precious Bosco is now gone. Dennis is in Palm Bay today with his dear friend. In the spirit of respectful witness, those present are invited to come forward, share a few words of joy or sorrow, and drop a stone into the bowl of water. You may also do so without speaking. Those who are willing, please come forward now.
I'm not speaking for myself. I'm speaking for Robert, president of the board. Robert says, last week we had a board meeting. Joseph and I were out of town. He means Joseph Finty, by the way, the vice president of the board. The big decision was the need for 2 air conditioning units. The old air conditioning, one had failed and the other one was on its last legs. Tom Dooley did most of the research with the help from myself. I did very little. And Laura Lehrman. The need was explained that the money was handled by Shelley. Thank you very much, Shelley. She did a great job as well. The vote was taken, and we now have a new air conditioning system for the sanctuary. If you're a little cold, I'm sorry. We haven't quite got it all straightened out yet. It reminds me of, Robert says, it reminds me of a quote from the Cat Man at Key West. If you've been to Key West, you know who the Cat Man is. And he says, when the cats want to do a trick, stay out of the way. That's what they did with me. Anyway, I want to thank everyone for working together and making this happen. I appreciate this, the Board of Trustees, and this congregation. Thank you very much, Robert Moran.
Hello, I'm John. I just have by the way, for the new folks in here, you're welcome. I mean, I'm a Christian pastor, honestly, and I was chewed up and spit out by the church, and I'm here because I love these people, and it's a great place to be. I have one stone for my neighbor who passed away this morning. He was in his 70s, and he's leaving behind his 11-year-old daughter, who is friends with my daughter, and so just for their family. And then there's been another shooting, as many of you probably know, and these kids, they were praying while they were being shot. And at this point, I just hope that our country can wake up that we need policy change and not just prayers and thoughts. And I just hope that this is for change in our country and for the families of the kids. The kids around the world are just being, I mean, if we look at, I hate to make this, I hope it's not too political, but if we just look at the starvation going on in Gaza, and children are just being, they're not being protected. So let's do what we can, hopefully, to protect them.
Good morning. I'm Patrick E. I have a joy to share. On Thursday, I'll be visiting my friend Denny Fuller in Charlotte, Massachusetts. So he's a member of the Venice UU Church and a longtime friend with my partner and I. So looking forward to getting away.
Hi, I'm Nancy. You said everything that I was going to say about Minneapolis, except that that was my neighborhood. I just got back from Minneapolis, and I went to that church. As some of you know, I'm a recovering Catholic. But anyway, that really hit close to home. I also took all the catechism lessons there, so my heart's just broken for those people in Minneapolis. And I just think it's also ironic, Doug and I went to see the memorial for George Floyd while we were in Minneapolis, and it seems like that community is still reeling from that when we were just there. So I just pray for that community, because it is a beautiful city that really tries hard to be just and safe.
Hi, I'm Jess, and just wanted to share my gratitude for being here, for this community and the fellowship here. Also just want to echo those sentiments that were shared and feel very relatable today, as I'm also what I would consider a recovering Catholic. But happy to be here in this community, still definitely believe in Christ and accept Christ, but also accept everybody else and their beliefs, and also, whatever works, whatever is working for you, keep it working. So the other piece of gratitude, and just like from a personal space, is that I have also found fellowship with the 12-step community, and very happy to be working the 12 steps again now with Codependence Anonymous. So I'm happy about that, and happy to be learning more about myself. Thank you.
Although I echo everyone's sentiments, the reason I'm up here is our full-time choir director starts back this coming week, starting tomorrow, September 1st. She's been on her sabbatical. But I wanted to thank Edie and Scott for their beautiful music, filling in every time that they've been pretty much asked to fill in. And I'm so inspired by your music. Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Jane, and many people know I'm a therapist, and one of the things I've specialized with is obsessive scrupulosity and guilt. And I lived southwest of Chicago, and I worked with tons of Southside Irish, and didn't find out until I was 60 that I had Irish in me too. But I specialized with helping people not feel guilty because of all the sin and types of sin that you can commit in the Catholic Church. I've had a lot of friends that are Catholic too, recovering Catholics. So I can relate to what people have talked about. It's just so scary for people worrying all the time about going to hell, and are they doing the right thing? And so I've been kind of like a surrogate minister for decades with people obsess constantly about, fearing that they're doing the wrong thing. And it's so sad. It's just really a tough area. And that's one of the reasons that I've embraced all religions.
Alan L., and just wanted to a joy, which I've actually never met them, but a former fellow University of Cincinnati Bearcat just got engaged, TK to TS this week, so everybody's happy, I hope.
The final stone represents those joys and sorrows that remain unspoken, but are held in hearts. May we hold all these and one another in love and tenderness, so that this fellowship continues as a source of strength and comfort, courage and hope in the days ahead. Now we will have a moment of meditation. Thank you. Our message today was scheduled to be 4 personal spiritual journeys. One of our volunteers has not appeared, which leaves an opening for someone who can stand up at the last minute and say something about their spiritual journey. Okay, I see a volunteer, so at the end, you'll be the last one to speak. The first to speak will be Jackie, who gave a very brief introductory note. She's from Englewood and originally from Massachusetts. Please come up.
Thank you. I am going to start just with the disclaimer that I don't do the speaking in front of people thing, so bear with me. I've been a Unitarian Universalist since the age of 2. After some pressure from my grandparents to find some church to raise us in, my parents decided they didn't want to find a Catholic or Baptist church like they grew up in, but they agreed it was time to find their community. So they chose to attend the First Universalist Society in Franklin on the recommendation of my father's boss at the time. The congregation was occupying Marvin Chapel on the campus of Dean College in Franklin, Massachusetts. This building was old and smelled like wood polish and dust in the best way. My earliest memories there are of the scratchy pew cushions while I wiggled around, excitedly waiting for the grown-ups to sing "Go Now in Peace" to send us off to class. I couldn't wait to play with my friends, and there were snacks. We would all line up to give Reverend Carol Rosine a big hug after service, too. I felt so safe there. Over the years, we were fully embedded in the fabric of our church. My parents joined committees, as you do, as a UU. My mom still sings with the choir, and my dad was the lights and sound guy for decades. My sisters and I all went through the RE program, junior and senior youth groups. We did the OWL program. We got the full UU experience, too vibrant to cover in 4 minutes today. Even with that foundation, I struggled to explain myself outside of that bubble. I remember in 2nd grade, one of my classmates asked me how much money I got for my first communion. My what? I'd never heard of this, but through a little bit of questioning, he said, "Well, don't you believe in God?" I just shrugged and said no. How much can an 8-year-old truly get into detail on it? But I spent the rest of my adolescence kind of stumbling over the explanation of what I do believe in, blurting out random UU principles, trying my best to be a dutiful representative. It didn't go great. While I continued to live by our principles, I found myself talking less about it as I got into my teenage years to avoid confusion and debate. I graduated from high school in 2008, met Adam in 2008, and quickly started dating. He was raised Catholic, attending St. Mary's Church, which is poised at the end of our town common. It's very picturesque. For him, believing in God was a family obligation. Despite not being frequent flyers, he and his brothers had to attend CCD, make all the milestones. He never subscribed to the beliefs and reached the point he was only attending his church for memorial services and weddings. We were both working full-time jobs, being busy, young and in love. We found ourselves in religious limbo. Adam liked the idea of my church over his, but we only ever went to support family. I'll talk faster if that's my timer.
That's not you.
Okay. So yes, we went for support for family. AJ came along 3 years later, and it was finally time to decide what our family's faith would look like. Adam's parents wanted us to baptize him, and we planned to from the start, but over time we kind of realized that we'd be forcing a religion that we didn't subscribe to. So we invited them to the baby dedication service at my hippie church. And we all waved flowers at the babies and welcomed our newest members. I think it was a little too out there for them, but they made it through. The baptism conversation did stop there. Life carried on, and we welcomed Zach in 2014, got engaged in 2015, and it was a whirlwind. It's a blur even now, but even then I could be found singing Spirit of Life in my kitchen, burning incense, trying to just find the safety and security of my spiritual roots. We finally set a wedding date for 2017, and we were expected to get married at St. Mary's, but I was not willing to be confirmed. Ugh. I'm supposed to stop now. Should I stop now? I'm almost there. I wasn't willing to be confirmed. It was counter to my own beliefs. This is when she learned or maybe accepted that Adam did not share the family beliefs. She couldn't understand that I wasn't willing to promise to practice their religion for the sake of tradition, or that Adam wasn't even asking me to, because he didn't want it either. I found myself once again having to describe what I believe in. In 2018, my congregation confirmed Reverend Eric Cherry after Carol's retirement. During this confirmation, a guest speaker described that her beliefs had morphed over the years. She would learn more and change more, adjusting the information she had and graciously releasing the beliefs and practices that no longer served her goals. Her UU journey and spiritual journey was a choose-your-own-adventure book. That had never occurred to me. For some reason, I always viewed religious path as more linear than this. Since hearing that perspective, I've been taking the meandering approach, not feeling like I have to choose any one way or another, but rather walking through the world around us and trying to reflect back a fraction of the beauty we're able to absorb if we just open our eyes. We moved here in 2019, which was more of a culture shock than I expected. Where we're from, there are more pride flags than political flags on front lawns. It's a little more difficult to be reflective joy in a place that's less tolerant than you're used to, but after some attempts to be regulars at the Venice UU congregation, life picked up again and we stopped attending. Now more than ever, it's important to us that our kids feel more equipped than I was to speak for themselves in the wild. In our absence from church, I was still finding ways to put roots down, sometimes literally sitting on the ground, facing the rising sun and crying at the warm connection I felt to the universe. I get emotional now recalling it, and I want that for them. I want deep connection so that here we are. This is what brings me here today on this exact moment of my spiritual journey, hoping to reflect back the beauty that I see here. And isn't that the best part of the UU way? The journey is different in every person. The fact of the matter is that we're all doing this here together, healing from one thing and celebrating another. Our connection and our commitment to doing the right thing is the key to keeping the chalice lit in all of us. My goal is to continue to carry the flame of peace and love until we meet again. Thank you for letting me talk.
In case you didn't notice, we have a timer. Katheryn, when you get to the 3-minute mark, she holds up the card with 1 minute to go. And if you go on too long, you get the other side which says end. Thank you for your service. It's very important. Katheryn was born in New England and raised in New England and educated in New England. However, now she lives in Punta Gorda with her husband, Dr. Mike. They have 5 children and 6 grandchildren. She has a degree in microbiology and a master's in business administration. She has worked as a laboratory director and as a consultant in hospitals. And she loves traveling with Mike, visiting the grandchildren, and sailing. Katheryn.
There you are. So when I was a little girl growing up in my Italian Roman Catholic family, I had a lot of questions. I was curious about nature, always wondering about God. I remember being about 10 years old when I asked my first big question after Sunday Mass. As the priest lined up to greet the parishioners, I waited for my turn. When I got to him, I asked, if there's a big guy God, why do I have to go through his son, the little God? Why can't I just pray to the big guy God? I don't remember the priest's answer, but I'll never forget my mother's reaction. She squeezed my hand tightly and said, "We'll discuss this when we get home." That was my first hint that not all of my questions were welcome. But that didn't stop me. Another time after Mass, I rushed down the aisle to ask, why are babies born with original skin? Excuse me, that flash just threw me off. Why are babies born with original sin? How could God be so mean as to send little innocent babies to purgatory if they died before they were baptized? And yet another question I had was, how come I'll go to hell if I eat meat on Friday? Isn't that rather awfully harsh? For a child to go to hell just because one little bite of meat? I mean, what happens if I thought maybe I forgot it was Friday, maybe I thought it was Thursday? Just a mistake. By this time, my mother had forgiven me from asking any more questions after church. So I thought I'd save them for catechism on Wednesdays, where the nuns taught us wearing full black white habits. They often hid their hands under the white bib, and the first question I remember asking was, why do you hide your hands under your bib? I guess I was afraid they had a ruler ready to swat anyone who asked too many questions. I wasn't going to ask any profound questions in fear of that ruler, so I sat quietly instead, keeping my questions to myself and ruminating on my own ideas about God in silence. As I grew into my teenage years, the question became heavier. I felt betrayed by God because of the Vietnam War. If millions of people were praying for peace, then why wasn't God listening? Later, in a fundamentalist church I attended, I was told that God answers prayers in his own time, not ours. But for me, that felt like hogwash. I began to resent all the excuses people used to explain away God's silence. I tried Methodists and later the Baptists, because I'll admit the Baptists knew how to stir one's soul into wanting to dance in the aisles through gospel music. I love that. But still, I couldn't reconcile much of what I was hearing, especially when some circles dismissed science and evolution together. Altogether. It became clear to me that it wasn't God steering me wrong, it was religion. I was a science nerd. I loved learning and reading, and the more I read, the harder it was to reconcile faith and what I was discovering about the world. Science made sense to me. Faith, as it was being explained, often did not. So I started delving deeper into the psyche of God and searching for the ways to connect what I knew in my head with what I longed for in my heart. The search eventually led to study quantum mechanics. Oh, the topic was from nuns to neutrons, by the way. So the so-called new physics. When we looked around us, we see a world that is stable and ordered, but at the quantum level, the laws of physics fall apart. And things become very strange. Particles pop in and out of existence, and where multiple universes are possible. Wormholes and black holes defy explanation. Einstein called it spooky. My question became, is this where God lives? Just 1 second. Is God orchestrating our world from an alternate universe, or perhaps from beyond all universes? Stephen Hawking once answered the question, do you believe in God? By saying no. He explained that believing in God meant giving up your own power to an outside source. Your power and control come from the inside you. Bingo. No one knows for sure, But this is where my belief in God rests now. If God exists, it is bigger than anything we'd possibly imagine. And if it doesn't exist, then we are it. Which means that when the Bible says with God all things are possible, maybe that line is referring to me and to you and to all of us. My husband in 2018, that's Mike, and said we should check into the UUFCC where outstanding minister was heading the church, Reverend Amy. After just one sermon, we were hooked. UU helped me express my eccentric notions about religion and the existence of God. When I mentioned some of my beliefs, no one flinched or shied away. As a matter of fact, some people had the same background and transitioned from Catholicism to something different. It felt like I finally belonged somewhere. That's my spiritual journey. Thank you. Sorry, Ted.
Very good, thank you. Thank you. Next is Lee. His introduction is something like 4 pages. So I don't know what to say about it, but he'll let you know what he wants you to hear.
Okay, so exciting. If you have another mirror, you put it in front of you when you're looking in the mirror, and you can see a bunch of you behind you. It's something good. It's mirror reflections. During the Civil War, James Verner, my great-great-grand, a couple greats, and his daughter was Ada May. She married Overton Patterson in Arkansas, and he was born in 1910. And his dad had been a lead and zinc miner, and he died of black lung. And later on, his mother died, and he had to go, because he was an orphan, he went with his uncle, who was a minister in the Church of God. So he was exposed to religion for a few years, and he could quote the Bible very well. Now I said the Civil War was 1861, 1865, and next to me up on the hill where we lived in Pennsylvania, it was Hopewell Church, and it burned down. So they needed a place to stay, so they stayed in my neighbor's barn for a few years, and then built in 1884 Hebron Church, which was a building on wooden rafters. And later, my grandfather, William Custer, and the neighbors built a basement by using a mule and a scoop in their talent to raise up the building. My mother, Luella Custer, was the youngest of 5, born in 1917. She played the piano and was 100% Presbyterian. Her family next to the cemetery, which was my inheritance, and I was born in 1947. Okay, you got a Presbyterian and you got a Church of Christ. They got married. Baptism time, nothing, because they couldn't agree on the baptism. So in 1966, I was in the Navy, and I was in Livorno, Italy, and I got baptized Roman Catholic, something different. In 1968, I met my wife, Sally, and I says, we got a problem. I'm Catholic. She says, I am too. Okay. So I went out for Apollo 7 recovery, and she made all the arrangements. So November 16th of 68, we got married. And we returned to back to Clinton, Pennsylvania. And both kids were baptized Roman Catholic, my daughter in 1969 and my son in 1972. Fast forward, Sally was a deacon, I was an elder and a trustee for 20 years, and Sally's mother-in-law was Lutheran. Then I worked at Verizon for 38 years, went to a place called Crossroads. He started with 6 people, and fast forward, he got 3,000. That's kind of neat. And then in a few short years, I helped with Vacation Bible School, which had 500 kids. It was different. Then my daughter, Sandy, is married with 2 kids, Kelly and Bubba. Well, his real name is Bill, and he's at Costco Pharmacy. Kelly played saxophone. She was pretty good, drum major. She got a full-blown scholarship for saxophone at Duquesne University. So she's going through her thing. Already it's an end. Okay. Anyway, no. She was going to Presbyterian Church and she got a thus, so she changed her major to theology. And then she went to Duke University for theology. And her husband and Kelly's are both priests now in Episcopal Church, because that's where women were accepted at the time. Anyway, time's up. Empty.
All right, time for our volunteer.
Hi, kind of thrown together here. I'm Jane. I was a member of a Unitarian church in Naperville, Illinois for 25 years. How I grew up is, right here. I grew up Presbyterian, and my dad sang in a choir. He had just an excellent voice and did solos, including How Great Thou Art. And I loved to go to church because it was a dress-up church. And it was really big that we dressed up. That's why I dressed down a lot of times at this church, because I don't feel like you have to dress up, although I'm dressed up today for some odd reason. Anyway, I had 2 hippie sisters that never came to church, and they wouldn't dress up for anything. And so I was the one good girl daughter that went to church. I attended confirmation in 8th grade. I was baptized. But my mom was a kind of church attender that she went when she wanted to. She helped the church. She made food. She did everything, Girl Scout leader, all that. But my dad was raised Catholic, and he kind of left that. But he felt you had to go every Sunday. And then he'd come home and yell at us, and my mom would say, I don't think he's taking in what he's supposed to be at church, because why is he acting well there and then coming home and yelling at everybody? So that was kind of an inconsistency I saw as a child. But I liked the sense of community. I liked going on all the holidays. We had all our birthday. Well, my sisters did go to church when they were young, and there wasn't a choice. And we all had matching hats and matching shoes and matching purses and in the whole bit. I don't think people do that much anymore. So I faithfully attended church, and then I got married at 24, and I married an atheist, a Jewish atheist. I had never met a Jewish person in my life. He just fell for me, and he was an atheist, and I thought, I'll convert him someday. Well, it never happened. In fact, both of my kids are atheists. And I thought, what did I do wrong? I mean, I am representing open-mindedness, progressiveness. We both were. And I finally realized that my job was accepting all religions as long as they weren't harming people, thinking they were above everybody else. And I found out about humanism. But the only thing I didn't like during the divorce is my kids would say, "You're a Christian." And it would really hurt because I didn't think it was a horrible thing to care about the universe and to get involved in social causes and whatever. And I do think a lot of religions do that. And it could be real positive influence. So I still don't know what I did wrong, but I mean, at 40, I felt I was missing something. And I didn't have the spirituality, and I have a very expansive spirituality. I have a little bit of Hinduism, a little bit of Buddhism. I love mindfulness. I studied Confucianism and Taoism, all of that in college. I actually went to a Christian college, and I didn't anymore. I liked the spirituality, but I didn't want to feel pressured to, march in that kind of mode. And the only reason I did it is it was close by, and it was less expensive for my parents to send me to school. So my teachers taught me about different religions, and I studied yoga from 17 on, and I became a yoga teacher. And even though I was at a yoga temple in Chicago, my parents came to the graduation, never judged me. Even though my yoga guru was wearing a purple Indian outfit and we were chanting, etc., they noticed I was the happiest I've ever been in my life because I was meditating. I was doing yoga. I was aligning my chakras. I continued to go to the temple until my best friend was murdered, who was attending the temple, not there. And I just couldn't go because I couldn't deal with the grief associated. I felt like I had caused her death because she was studying yoga, and the person that actually took her life, that they felt was guilty initially, he was the opposite of open-mindedness about religion. He was a very rigid, kind of cultish religionist. So anyway, I joined at 40. I wanted my kids to feel that they could be with other progressive people. I found the church, went on my own. My husband eventually came too, and we met some of the best friends in our life. We did things with our kids. My husband and I were organizers. We would have camping trips, ski trips, biking trips, etc. And those friends are still, some of them are integral in our life because many have divorced. But I ended up seeing clients at my church, and it didn't matter because the purpose is doing things that are helping the world, the environment, people being inclusive. My son stayed through high school. My daughter dropped out in 8th grade. She didn't want anything to do with the church, almost carrying on my sister's family tradition. I've been to Tibet and been to the Dalai Lama's winter and summer palace. I have read a lot of different religions. I hope to someday attend the Buddhist group on Thursday night. I pretty much accept religions as long as they're not telling me what to think and do, and as long as they're not preaching hatred, because I think the way we need to go in the future is being together. I also forgot to tell you, the Catholic school that I taught in had a former nun and a biracial marriage. And my priest was very open-minded, that we weren't all, I was lay, but a lot of people were Catholic, and I loved teaching at the school. I couldn't have done it unless they were open-minded about people that weren't Catholics. So I would say I'm a smattering of quite a few religions. I even like the earth-centered spirituality. One last thing, when I was 8 years old, my parents took me to a Cherokee Indian reservation, our indigenous reservation, And it really touched me. And that is also a very important part of me and what I believe, because I feel like being back to the earth and I feel like my biggest temple is outside. So I commune in nature. I feel connected with, how our country started and all the medicinal herbs and being one with nature. I think that's what we're missing in society. Thank you.
Well, I thank our volunteers and our unexpected volunteer as well for coming up and sharing their thoughts and feelings and experiences. And I hope you found something of interest in what they had to say and maybe some new thoughts for your own edification and improvement. Now is the time for the offering. If the basket people will come up, we'll proceed with that. The offering is a sacrament of the Free Church, supported by the generosity of all who join with us, members and friends. It is our privilege and responsibility to ensure the health and future of this fellowship. You are here for the first time. Do not feel obligated to give. Your presence is your gift. The ushers will pass the offering baskets. I don't know what they're waiting for, but let's go. Don't forget me over here. The Zoomies who are not here physically may also mail checks to the office, come by and drop them in our mailbox, or call the office to make other arrangements. The Venmo app may also be used. If your offering is for another purpose than our operating fund, such as second helping, indicate it on your check's memo line. Your generosity is always appreciated. We now have the life of the community, and no one has come forward with anything for me to say today. So you can learn what the schedule is on the back of the order of service. Today at 3 o'clock, the secular community will be having a guest speaker via Zoom. And yes, you have something to add.
Next month, our Social Justice Committee is helping the Animal Welfare League. So since I'll be away next week, next Sunday, there's a donation box out in the hallway there, and information on Animal Welfare League. So, yeah.
Okay, very
and there will be
good.
a speaker in September from that facility.
Thank you, Pat. There will be a speaker via Zoom, a very distinguished speaker this afternoon at 3 o'clock if you're interested in attending. The closing words today are from Emily Dyson. A spiritual journey is a personal exploration of self and life. It's embarked upon for personal growth, inner peace, and self-understanding. The journey can lead to self-discovery or answers to life's profound questions. It often culminates in deeper self-awareness or a spiritual awakening, recognizing the interconnectedness of all life. The first stage is soul searching, when you decide whether to embark on this journey or not. This stage is often met with a lot of confusion and consideration. You begin your inward search and ask questions. The second stage is the awakening stage. You will begin to see the world differently. Confusing things will now make sense to you. You become more self-aware and start to see things through a spiritual lens. The third stage is about facing your fears and seeing the good, the bad, the dark, and the light. The fourth stage is rebirth, when you start to become who you were destined to be. The final stage is applying the new wisdom you have gained to your everyday life. As AJ comes forward to extinguish the chalice, please repeat the traditional recitation with me. We extinguish this chalice, but not the light of hope, the fire of commitment, or the warmth of community. May these ideals shine in our lives and warm our hearts until we are together again. Go now in peace. The closing hymn is in the gray hymnal 163, For the Earth Forever Turning.
Congratulations.